And he couldn't. But he was twice the man.
Yeah.
Everybody has their thing.
What was your favorite thing about Grandpa? You couldn't dance.
His kindness.
His kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And now you were 18 and he was how old?
When they got married?
When you got married. Oh, no. 33.
20 and 33.
20
Yeah.
and 33.
Yeah.
Well, he would have been 34 in a few days after
Yeah.
the wedding. So basically 20 and...
Fun.
He had so many girlfriends before he ever met me.
He was kind of the crown prince of that family, wasn't he?
Well, he definitely was. End of Humboldt. He had any girl he wanted. I don't know how he ever stumbled on me. He said, I used to come to the bowling alley and watch her bowl. But you had no idea who I was. I said, well, I wasn't interested at that time.
You were probably 17 and he was 20 or 30 at the time, so you paid no attention to him.
Oh, that's fun.
And Dad said he was attracted to Mother because she, even when they were dating, he got mad at him one day.
He said to me, I lived across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And this night, he came into the confectionery where I was after the dance. And he said, can I take you home? I said, well, I just live across the street. He never forgot that. He said, I've never seen such an independent woman in my life.
Mom, when Jerry and I were 19, and he decided to break up with me because he wanted to date the girls up at SDSU, I said, see ya. Whatever. I told him later, I said, I didn't grab the ankles on your, I didn't hold onto your leg and hold your back. I just said,
And yet, that's not how you felt.
kind of, because I was mad at him.
Oh.
So I thought, fine, go.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, I remember the night we were on a date, and Chuck said to me, I'm going to California to work. God, my heart just broke, and I thought, well, go to California. So the next night he said, when I told you I was going to California, you never said a word. And I said, well, what was I supposed to say? Well, I want to go too. I said, you didn't ask me. Well, he said, I thought about that after I got home. And I thought, why didn't you say I want to go too? Well, I said, I want to go too. But I said, I have to get my parents' permission. I was 18. But I felt I owed that to them. So we went out and I told my folks, and mother said, you don't need to go to California. My dad said, what are you going to do in California? I said, well, I'm going to get a job. Like that, I'm going to get a job. Oh, God. Dumb young kids. No, I went, and there were many times I wish I hadn't. Especially when Helen said, are you going to work at Mare Island? And I said, well, I think so. So I walked down there, across the Wolf Plaza Bay, all by myself. And I applied for a job, and my God, they hired. That lady said, can you type 16 words a minute? I said, no, and if I did, you couldn't read them. Well, at least you're honest. That's what we like about the Midwest people. And she said, I've got a job for you. You don't have to type.
wasn't it payroll, Mom?
Yeah. And so she said, you show up at Shop 96 in the morning. I thought, oh my God, where's Shop 96? Well, I found out. And it was probably one of the best jobs I ever had.
Mom, how did you get out there? Did you drive out or did you take the train?
Oh no, we drove out in the middle of winter.
Why? What time of year did you leave?
In about, well, right before Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I said, you know, we talked about this later. I said, you know, we took off like it was summertime.
Yeah, especially over the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah. And we had a lot of snow till we got to Rapid City. And the first night I stayed there, there was, of course I had a room, And right next to that room there was a door, and they were having a party. I didn't sleep all night long.
Who was they? Just some strangers?
Oh.
Now, was this in Aunt Lena's place?
Well, it was in a hotel near there.
But it wasn't Aunt Lena's hotel.
No.
More motel. Okay.
No. God, things you go through when you're so dumb.
But it helped that Helen was out there, or
Yeah.
Grandma probably wouldn't have let you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Helen was an RN out there?
Yeah.
Where did she work?
At the Vallejo General Hospital, where Ron was born.
Oh, fun. Was she there when Ron was born?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
She didn't want to be, but she was. And of course she saw I had the best doctor in town. I'd never meet it if I hadn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ron was breech. Your first child was breech. And he had to turn him? Did the doctor turn Ron, or was he born breech?
Well, he was born breech.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Mm-mm. Ow. And Grandma, didn't you tell me one time that Grandpa was so worried about you that he went down to the chapel and prayed and prayed? Yeah. Wow.
Does Ron know that?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
He was the cutest little rascal.
That's fun.
By the time I took him home, which was 9 days, I guess it's 5 now. There are 2 of her left.
2. Yeah.
I can't imagine. Joanna, I can't imagine.
I don't know. I don't know why it's quicker now than it used to be honest. I don't know.
Because the insurance company won't pay for it.
There's that.
I have Blue Cross, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had Blue Cross until just recently. Ron said, yeah, Mom, I didn't think I'd ever get you away from Blue Cross.
That's funny.
Yeah, I guess I'd put him blow off.
Yeah. And Grandma, I thought I remember you telling me one time that when Ron was a tiny baby, that's when you and Grandpa drove back to South Dakota.
Yeah, he was 2 months old.
2 months.
In the heat?
In the heat. And a 2-month-old baby. And he'd sleep as long as the car was running.
Oh, okay, sure.
As soon as we stopped for gas for the car or to eat,
Uh-huh.
there was Ron with his eyes wide open.
But you had no refrigeration, you had no disposable diapers, you had no disposable bottles.
No
Every
gas
night
station.
You washed bottles and boiled them. Every night you washed diapers. And you got ready for the next day.
Mm.
And then I used canned heat. Can you imagine stinky canned heat on the road to heat his bottles? And he didn't know he wasn't in good hands.
And then didn't you make formula, like out of Karo syrup and
Oh,
carnation
sure.
milk?
Caramel syrup and carnation milk?
It's funny they could digest it, Mom.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
But that was his diet when I
Yeah.
was in California.
Yeah.
The doctor put him on that. But then that kept him regular. The caramel
And
syrup.
there was a lot of fat in that, Mom, even though there was too much sugar, but there was a lot of fat for the little brain to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I never thought about that. I knew what shut him up and made him happy, and that's all I knew.
So did you nurse him originally, or not? Not out of California.
Oh, not in California. That was a no-no.
Mm.
A no-no.
Oh yeah, too progressive out there.
Oh my word, when I was having, before I had him, Woody said, Delores, you're not going to nurse that baby. And I said, well, why not? He said, we don't do that here. And I said, well, why can't I do that? Well, he said they'd call you a cow if you did. I mean, they're persnickety out there.
Well, and then for being so green and so environmentally conscious, they don't want people to dry their clothes outside either.
now, and this was back then, what, 75 years ago?
I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
We lived in a community. God, it was nice. Everybody had their own apartment. I remember this lady that lived in the next apartment. She didn't care what she said or how she said it.
Really?
So the day the war ended, she said to her husband, "Take this damn car down to the filling station and run it over with gas." We hadn't been able to buy a lot of gas. And she said, "Run the damn thing over with gas." I remember hearing her say that. And I thought, God, what is she? Well, I finally listened to know her, and I found out she just said what she thought, no matter who was around.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
I grew up better than that.
Sure.
And I remember after we got married, we couldn't buy a stove or a work machine or anything like that.
Okay.
So these people who lived in the apartment we bought were from Texas.
Okay.
And he said, "I'm ready to leave this damn town. I'm going back to Texas." So we bought out his apartment for furniture and everything.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Didn't have to go buy it, and it was all there.
Well, it wasn't to be bought, so I was glad we were able to afford it.
Right. Well, you and Grandpa worked so hard.
And we were paid so well.
Oh, good.
I think I wound up getting $10 an hour.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Back then, that
Back
was
then.
quite a salary.
And were you employees? I know at the shipyards, but were you like Navy employees or
We were government
employees? Yeah, yeah.
And we were told when we were hired that we had a war service appointment. And as soon as the war was over, we were out of a job.
Wow.
So you saved your money so you could go back home.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fascinating. How did you find out about it? Being from small town South Dakota, how did you find out about those shipyard jobs in California?
It was advertised in the Argus Leader. And of course, Chuck applied.
Uh-huh. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long were you in California?
2 years.
2 years. So you went with him, you got married out there, and then had Ron, and then when he was 2 months old, you came back to Sioux Falls or Humboldt?
Humboldt.
Humboldt.
We shipped our furniture back, and we shipped it to Humboldt.
That's cool.
Aunt Lena had bought him a beautiful crib, and I couldn't leave that behind. And Chuck brought me a beautiful the desk that Janelle has.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was handmade, and he gave that to me as a wedding present.
Oh.
And I treasured that thing.
Grandpa gave it to you as a wedding present. Oh, that's so neat. I didn't realize that. Cool, Grandma. I like it. Yeah. I can see why you shipped it back.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Came back to civilization.
Oh, that's cool.
But now I'm always glad I left and went to California. I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm. Bet you did.